What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back for our last four corners of the week for today's 7-game NBA main slate, courtesy of Osmo.com and presented by Super Draft. It's looking like a fun slate for our last one before the Super Bowl with a lot of value out there and a lot of important players ruled out. We'll talk about it all as we go, but right now, let's get that power of positivity back in the air. And right now, please hit that like button. And also, if you want your chance to win a free month of Osmo Plus courtesy of Super Draft, like this video and comment your top value according to Draftkings salaries down below. Yesterday, somebody guessed Corey Joseph correctly, so good job by them, and I'll give them that prize later on. But if you want to join that person at the pay window, please like this video and comment your top value play down below. But we've got news breaking before I did this video, and always, we've got no time to waste here in the four corners. Let's get right into our first corner of the top owned plays in Jalen Brunson in a game at Houston, where there's 113 implied points for Dallas. Brunson has 59% expected ownership on Draftkings, while he has 50% on FanDuel. Brunson's role changes dramatically with Luka Doncic out, as he averages 1.1 fantasy points per minute, a 22% usage rate, and a 31% assist rate that should see a boost in potential in the pace up versus Houston at insanely cheap prices industry-wide. Another top owned play with all the value out there is James Harden, that same game versus Dallas, where there's 122 implied points for Houston. Harden has 29% expected ownership on Draftkings, while he has 54% on FanDuel. Harden has been down lately thanks to injuries and bad matchups for him, but Dallas doesn't have the guys to meaningfully impede him, and his price is now far too cheap industry-wide for what he's capable of in a competitive game. And another hot off the presses top owned play is Solomon Hill in a game at New Orleans, where there's 118 implied points for Memphis. Hill has 38% expected ownership on Draftkings, while he has 15% on FanDuel. Brandon Clark was downgraded to doubtful with a lot of minutes to go around thanks to Jaren Jackson's suspension, and Hill's versatility should secure minutes as a low fantasy point per minute player, but one at minimum prices industry-wide. And now for our next corner, let's take a look at the top value plays on the slate, starting with Serge Ibaka in a game at Detroit, where there's 113.3 implied points for Toronto. Ibaka continues to not be priced correctly on FanDuel with Marc Gasol out, but he's also a solid play who'll be overlooked with a closer to correct price on Draftkings in a game versus Detroit where his size is likely desperately needed. And another top value today looks like Steven Adams in a game at Phoenix, where there's 111.8 implied points for Oklahoma City. Adams is particularly cheap on Draftkings, and he was up to 26 minutes last game, though his ceiling remains in question, with him unlikely to see a ton more minutes with his recent run of injuries. And another top value today looks like Jonas Valanciunas in that game at New Orleans, where there's 118 implied points for Memphis. Jonas has played over 31 minutes in his last few games, and he's very affordably priced, with his minutes likely to be more productive without Jaren Jackson, and even more secure if Brandon Clark also misses. And now for our next corner, let's take a look at some other core plays on the slate, starting with Zion Williamson in that game versus Memphis, where there's 123 implied points for New Orleans. Zion has only played 96 minutes so far this year, but he's taken more than he's given with a 1.3 fantasy point per minute average, and some minutes of his own staggered away from high usage Brandon Ingram and Drew Holiday. Another core play for me is LeBron James in a game versus Portland, where there's 121.3 implied points for the Lakers. It'll be an emotional first Lakers game following Kobe's untimely passing, and independent of narratives, it's a strong matchup for LeBron with his price where it is against Portland's 110 defensive rating and slightly higher pace. And his teammate Anthony Davis also looks good versus Portland in a game where there's 121.3 implied points for the Lakers. Davis is also at a strong price, with him looking particularly good against Carmelo Anthony at the 4, and maybe to benefit if JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard dedicate themselves to keeping Hassan Whiteside off the boards. And now for our last corner, here are the lower owned dart throws that I'm looking at, starting with Damian Lillard in a game at the Lakers, where there's 108.3 implied points for Portland. Lillard's price has come back down due to the matchup, but he's had over 70 fantasy points in his last 4 games, even with CJ McCollum's return. He's also had a monster 84 fantasy point effort versus a comparably tough team in Indiana. Another lower owned dart throw that I'm intrigued by is PJ Tucker in that game versus Dallas, where there's 122 implied points for Houston. Tucker stands to see more minutes at the 5 with Clint Capella out again, and his price offers some upside, but with less ownership due to the abundance of other values on the slate. And my last lower owned dart throw is Kristaps Porzingis in the game at Houston, where there's 113 implied points for Dallas. Porzingis projects to be way too low owned despite a very solid price point that doesn't account for Luka's absence, despite a 1.3 fantasy point per minute average in core time without Luka, and no one to protect the rim with Clint Capella out. So that's what I'm seeing so far for our last slate of the week. So right now, please hit that like button. If you want your chance to win that free month of Osmo Plus courtesy of Super Draft, like this video and comment your top value play according to Draftkings salaries down in the comments below. As I mentioned earlier, somebody did guess Corey Joseph correctly, and you can see him right here, GAB. So GAB, email me at chris@osmo.com to collect your prize of that free month right now. And as always, those free months of Osmo Plus come courtesy of Super Draft. So right now, step into the future of DFS at superdraft.io or by downloading Super Draft in the App Store of your choosing. If you sign up and use the promo code OSMO, you can get yourself $20 free with a deposit of $100 $100 or more. So go right now to Super Draft, a game style where you don't even have to know any salaries. Just pick any players you want in the league and go from there. Check them out right now at superdraft.io and use that promo code OSMO to get your $20 free. And we have a few more days left, so use this promo code LIV in honor of Super Bowl 54 to get 30 days for $54, which is a pretty big discount on our usual monthly all-access OSMO pass. Get all the data for yourself, all the NFL data, NBA data, NHL, PGA, MMA, every sort of set of letters that you can put together. We have data for it, so check it out right now at osmo.com/join. Use that promo code LIV for your first month for $54. Go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. I did our big Super Bowl show right before doing this one. Also have some content coming out this weekend, and of course my own personal podcast, which you should be subscribed to, so check it out right now on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. I'll be back on Live Before Lock later today with the Chubster Josh Engelman, so tune in then. It's Pigtails Day, guys, so I'll be wearing my special good luck pigtails to rally us all to success. I'm sure it'll make you all very happy and rich, and I'll be back with you guys on Monday for another Four Corners, so enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend. Check me out later, and I'll see you guys again soon. So have a good one, guys, and good luck.